this. I had to have this tripod like 3 feet back, and it didn't used to be that way. Um, so anyway, let's get to the agenda. The year 2020. What a cesspool. What an S show. What a cluster cluck. I I cannot believe what happened this year. And a lot of people might not know this, but I'm heavily involved in politics. As much as somebody who is not a government worker or a government official or somebody like that, it can be involved in politics. I have had cops to my house because of politics, meaning they came because of posts that I made and videos that I've made involving political leaders because they don't like criticism. They do not like someone who is an informed voter. They do not like informed people telling other people about things that they found. And they certainly don't, politicians do not like having their power threatened. So instead of having the guts to come and talk to me one on one, either in person or over the internet, these politicians sent cops to my house twice. And it would have happened again more than likely, but I've gotten better with wording things so that they don't come across as perceived threats. So, why do I care? Because this is the United States of America. It was founded by rebels. It was founded by people who were tired of a king who was not representing them properly, who was treating them poorly. That is the American spirit. The underdog winning and the little people getting their rights secured. It's what makes this country great. It's what I hope to preserve. I'm just one person, but if you inform enough people, then one person becomes 1,000, becomes 10,000, becomes 100,000, and next thing you know, things are shifted. I'm tired of rich silver spoon pieces of garbage running this place. And the year 2020 has brought a lot of stuff to the forefront because a lot of people were not interested in politics before this year. People that I've grown up with, family members, had absolutely no interest in politics until this year. And it's because of the fact that the government shut them down. They had jobs one day and the next day their job was considered non-essential. This is segregation by any other word. When you say, we're all in this together, but some people are exempted, we're not all in this together. Not if some people are collecting paychecks and other ones aren't. And you want to talk about unemployment. First of all, a lot of people were making more money than what unemployment pays them. And that's if unemployment gets paid to them. You had a lot of small businesses apply for the PPP loans and come to find out the government will not be paying for that, or at least it won't be happening quick enough so that they are going to have to pay these loans back that they thought were going to be forgivable loans, also known as grants, quasi grants, what have you. It's disgusting what the political leaders in this country did. The the illness is real. It was real. I do believe that a temporary shutdown was the proper thing to do. I personally would have shut a lot more things down. Amazon would have been shut down. I would have shut down basically everything except medical care and like power or like electricity, heat, and things like that. Stores. I basically would have said, okay, everybody has, I don't know, 2 months to get things. If I were in charge, I would have said everybody has 2 months to gather what they need, food, water, other essentials like medicine, and we will be shutting down the state for, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks. But I believe other countries actually did this and it was successful. But where I live, that didn't happen. They shut down. They did this piecemeal shutdown. Where Walmart and Home Depot and all these different places were still they're selling non-essential goods, quote unquote non-essential goods. They were still selling video games. They were still selling toys, kids' toys. They were still selling, again, non-essential items. And these stores that all they did was sell as non-essential items were forced to close down. Bars and restaurants and live entertainment venues in my state have closed shop for good. The biggest example, I can't name the specific place, just as a privacy issue, but it was a long running live music venue for many years, and they shut down. They are no longer operating. As of, I believe it was 3 weeks ago, they shut down. You know, the Constitution, which actually I forgot to get that. Hold on, because this is important. So this document right here is the foundation of our country, on top of the Declaration of Independence, which is more of a list of grievances. But this is the foundation, the legal foundation of the United States of America, and it has been trampled on a lot lately. It was being trampled on even before the year 2020, but this year has been particularly egregious. And hey, I'm just a guy who wants to take pictures, record videos. I want to mix audio. I want history to be preserved. And maybe that's why I care so much about audio engineering. It's why I care so much about video quality and photo quality, because as as time moves on, we can revisit these memories, and maybe that's a part of why I care so much about audio video stuff. Because I realize the importance of preserving history as if you were there in person. Let me go put the Constitution back where I just had it. By the way, guys, if you're just joining, I want everybody to be a part of this discussion. So I will be reading comments throughout this broadcast. But the year 2020 just it's a wake up call, I think, for people, not just United States of American citizens, but people of the world. It's a wake up call that our freedoms can be taken away like that. And it's just, I couldn't believe. All right, I'll just put it this way. I'm a staunch supporter of the Bill of Rights, and I've fought for the Bill of Rights to the best of my budget, to the best of my free time. I don't think I fought as hard as I could. I could have spent a little bit more money. I could have went to a few more things, but as a regular everyday citizen, I really don't have much power to affect the way things are going. But I never in my life thought that people would roll over and just say, okay, I'm not going to collect a paycheck anymore. I'm not going to keep my business open. Okay, government, you win. I never thought I'd see that, because it's one thing to stand up for what I stand up for, but it's a whole other thing to say, I'm not going to be able to pay for goods and services because the government says that I'm non-essential. The business I do was considered to be non-essential. A lot of my bill collectors would beg to differ. So I ignored the shutdown orders. I kept my business going as much as I could. It was greatly affected though, especially because of the events being shut down. Large gatherings could not happen legally anymore, even though we had that. I did lose money this year. I was not able to get the normal gigs that I got, that were, an annual thing. New gigs didn't happen. A lot of other people are in the same position as me. Um, Stagehands, event coordinators, all these people that I know personally were affected by this. And again, this message of we're all in this together, F you. No, we're not. Not the people that were able to still work, the lucky ones. They were not affected by this. We are not in this together. Unless you had a hit to your bank account, we are not in this together. And hey, that was a wake up call to me. Maybe I should get into another business. Maybe I should start selling, uh, legally start selling pharmaceutical goods. Maybe I should get into farming. Maybe I should get into uh, something to do with energy. I just to have a I'm just gonna say it, a tyrant tell me that what I'm doing is not good enough was the biggest slap in the face that a citizen could get. Because to tell me I now have to beg for money from the government, that I just can't keep doing my job, is disgusting. If I'm willing and other people were willing to put their lives at risk, just like the workers at Walmart, just like the workers at Home Depot, and the workers at Amazon, and the workers at all the other places that the government allowed to keep open, why couldn't Adam? Why couldn't Adam keep his business going? Why couldn't the businesses that Adam would go to stay open? You know, you know what? You want to know why? Because those guys at the top don't give a shit about me and you. That's why. They care about themselves. They care about their friends and their family. Oh, you better believe they had exemptions. And you better believe, even though they had the exemptions, they were at the top of the list when it came to those PPP loans. You know, they were at the top of the list, even though. Okay, I didn't want to like rant too much, but I'm gonna go down my list here. So this coming week would have been the start of AES. I saw somebody post, so I'm gonna read that first, and then I'll get to the. Oops, this is not conducive to wearing glasses. There we go. How do I get the chat back up? There we go. Sound mixers, yeah, man. Oh my God, I know a few audio engineers. These guys were, you know, just going along fine. What's up, Alejandro? You haven't missed. Sorry, I was reading your comment. You have not missed too much. By the way, leave a like on this video, guys, if you're out there. Um, so, all right, AES, the Audio Engineering Society convention, would have been happening, I believe, this coming weekend, had it not been for these shutdowns. New York City is a show, by the way. I don't know if I even want to go back to New York, which is why I might be going to the. I'm assuming it's going to come back next year, Summer NAMM. I guess I could still do some things with AES virtually this year, um, but that's just another sign. And here's the biggest thing. Okay, again, I understand the shutdowns. I understand all that. Like I said earlier, I personally would have shut down more things. I would have did it for a finite amount of time, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I would have shut down a lot more things. I would have told people. I would have given people ample warning that the shutdowns were coming. So get everything that you can, medicine, all the supply, food, all the things that you need for normal things. And obviously, I would keep the hospitals open. I'd keep fire and police and all that open. but I would have not had the Amazons and the grocery stores open once the shutdown began. I think that just it, the way things were handled, at least in my state, were piss poor. Is the best way to put it. So I want to talk about the media, and I actually need another prop for this one. All right. So this, I believe, is the cheapest microphone that you can buy on Amazon that has an XLR output. Okay? It's the PAL PDM, I'm sorry, PD Mic MIK1. So PD MIK1. And I've recorded a few things with this microphone. And let's just say it's no Shure SM57 or definitely not an SM7B. Um, but it's $6. And it's, you know, it shouldn't have the word professional on the box. But the point is, imagine if this microphone was reviewed by one of the larger um, audio engineering publications, websites, what have you. And they, instead of recording with this microphone, they actually record it with a $500 condenser microphone and said, hey, here's some samples of the PAL microphone. And they actually, reviewed it that way. And they said this microphone is great. Buy it. It punches well above its weight for only $6. That would be fraud. So I bring this up not because that's what happened, but I bring it up because what we're going through right now with social media websites shutting down certain voices, suppressing certain voices is a real problem because guys like me would actually review this microphone and say it's a pile of dung. Pun intended, of course. $6 is not going to get you a great microphone. As much as I would love it to be, not that you can't record anything with this microphone, but I was just curious to hear what a $6 dynamic microphone sounded like in the year 2020. That's not a knock against PAL because I think PAL actually does make a few good audio. They make good audio equipment, just not in the under $10 range apparently. But the point is, imagine if a guy like me who would try to put the truth out was shut down from putting the truth out. That is what's going on in the year 2020, and it disgusts me. I know of a guy. He had actually still has technically a very large Facebook group, 25,000 plus members. Earlier this month, all of a sudden, posts that would get hundreds of replies were getting a dozen replies if they were lucky. They would get maybe 30 likes if they were lucky. Imagine having posts that normally we get 1,000 likes, and so their message spread has gone down significantly because they're not a part of the mainstream billion-dollar media. They were telling the truth. They were using primary sources with their information. They were using their own personal anecdotes and their own personal experiences, just regular everyday people like me, and their voices were being shut down because they're not a part of some authority figure. They are not a part of this big dollar media with the satellites up in the skies, with the fancy $50,000 cameras. That's the year 2020. I feel fortunate that I can do a live broadcast to you guys, and you could watch me either on a little smartphone or on a giant 100-inch TV, whatever you choose to watch this on. I think that's incredible that I can do a live stream and talk to people and see your comments and reply to your comments in almost real time. That is cool. But if all of a sudden I'm being shut down because I'm telling the truth, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Because nobody should have their voice shut down for telling the truth. But that's the world we live in 2020. Not that YouTube or anybody else owes me anything, but as the Supreme Court ruled a few years ago, the new town square, the new town hall, is social media. So to shut down people's voices, again, the First Amendment applies to the government, but it's still disgusting that an American-based company who possibly does take federal funding would shut down free speech. I'm not saying they're breaking the law. I'm just saying that from an American standpoint, it's disgusting. Okay. So in the year 2020, it started off with Australian bushfires. It started off with Kobe Bryant dying. Um, we had a presidential impeachment proceeding happening. We all forgot about that. Yes, all this happened back in early January, or back in January, February, and it's just gotten crazier ever since then. We had riots that destroyed, I believe, over $1 billion worth of buildings and whatever else. $1 billion in damages if you total it all up. And this was allowed to happen. The people that did it were released from jail. You had to ask yourself why. Why is this happening across the country? You know, if somebody, I mean, I don't need to reiterate the point, but you know, it's just it boggles the mind with why we allowed this to happen. Why aren't these leaders being removed from office by the police? You know, they are breaking. I'll just bring this up, and I wish I would have said this earlier. There is a law. There's two laws actually: conspiracy against rights, and sorry, I talk about this a lot, and I just forgot about it. Hold on. Conspiracy against rights and deprivation of rights under color of law. Uh, Title 18, USC, sections 241 and 242. I'll say that again in case the broadcast screwed it up. Title 18, Title 1-8, Title 18, USC, 241 and 242. If you Google that, you will find that it is against the law to deprive anybody on the United States soil. That includes citizens, that includes immigrants, that includes illegal aliens as well. You cannot deprive people of constitutionally protected rights and get away with it. It is a crime. It is not a civil offense, it is a crime. And I've tried to get this across to local police. I've tried to get this across to state police. I have filed reports with the FBI. They don't seem to care. But all of a sudden, you had in Michigan a story of, I believe it's 13 people were arrested because they planned on kidnapping the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, I believe her name is. Here's my message to the police. If you all were doing your jobs, and if you guys told the governor that what she did with all of her different executive orders, where she was playing the role of legislator when she was not elected to the role of legislator, and where we typically have a separation of powers in state governments and certainly in federal governments, where the executive branch does not have the same powers as the judicial and legislative branches. We are taught this in school. We all know this, right? There's a check and balance system in our representative republic here in the United States. That was not being abided by, and the Michigan Supreme Court backed up what I said. Guess what? Gretchen Whitmer decided to go through with it anyway, even though the Supreme Court in her state told her to stop doing so. She found loopholes to keep going for another 21 days after the decision came down. We are dealing with tyrants, everybody. We are dealing with individuals who believe they are above the law. That is not what this country was founded on. We're supposed to be a country of laws. And had Gretchen Whitmer been told by the police in her state that what she's doing is illegal, and if she continues to do so, she will be placed under arrest, then you wouldn't have militia, terrorist groups, whatever you want to call them, threatening to kidnap her and hold her on trial. I don't agree with what they did. I think attempting or even threatening to do something bad to the government is a bad idea. The best course of action is to do what I do, which is spread the word, spread the truth, number one, and then possibly run for office and get these pieces of garbage out of there. And then guess what? If good people get elected, there's usually a 2-year statute of limitations. So if somebody gets elected, they can at that point get charges filed against the former leaders. That is legally what can be done. Now the problem is the voting system rigged? We don't know. We could also talk about let's form a second government. People think I'm crazy for that idea, but it's a one possibility. And I always say that if there were only one microphone manufacturer, if there was only one company making audio interfaces, do you really think they would be that good? No. Competition breeds creativity, breeds ingenuity, breeds innovation, breeds invention. The fact that audio equipment got better over the years was because there were multiple companies competing against one another. If there was just one company doing it, making microphones, they'd be crappy. That's a fact. They would sell these for $1,000. That's a fact. Cell phones have gotten better because of competition. Cell phone companies have gotten better because of competition. So why can't we have multiple public service institutions? Why don't we have more than one government? Because we're born into this and we think that that's the only way. Fact is, if somebody tried to put another government in place, the government that has all the weapons and cages would use those weapons and cages against the new government. So I think the best course of action, for me at least, is either to leave this shitty state, which I'm considering doing, or to run for office eventually. As crazy as an idea as that sounds, if I just shave, get a haircut, unfortunately there's nothing I can do about the baldness, at least within my budget. But I can wear a suit instead of a white t-shirt. And let me tell you, when I put that suit on, when I get cleaned up, you fit the role better. And I don't know if I want to try to run for office, but I'm looking at it like this: like, what's cheaper? Moving's cheaper, assuming other things can fall into place. It's actually technically cheaper to run for office. I don't have to I don't have to buy anything. I can just put my name on the ballot and do marketing over the internet. Anyway, that's in the future. I don't even know if that's going to happen. If it happens, it happens. I will read a few more comments. I have a few more things to go through, guys. But yeah, the year 2020 has been revelatory. I don't know where I'm pulling these words out of my butt, but yeah. Unbelievable. Yes, I do believe there will be a second stimulus check. Hello, Don from Germany. Germany is my I actually am German descent. German Polish descent. With a little bit of English and Irish thrown in. I don't know if I'm focused or not, guys. It doesn't look like I am. I don't believe there's going to be a civil war because I think Americans we're too comfortable, we're too fat, we don't think we had the power. And unfortunately, if a civil war were to start, guess who would be on the front lines? Police officers. And I don't think that's fair to police officers that these out of control politicians are going to put them in harm's way. But they maybe police officers need to start thinking that way. That these people that wear the suits and the ties can get me killed because of their actions, because of their words. That is a fact. That is a fact. Actually, the guys in Michigan, one of the plans was actually to attack the police. And again, I don't agree with any of that. I think violence is not the answer, and that includes government violence, which is what in my state at least, a $5,000 fine if you kept your business open. So because I don't have a physical location for my business other than my house, um, most of the shoots that I do are all done on location. And if I have to do them in a studio, I rent a studio. Um, but if I had a physical business, I would have kept those doors open, and I would have said, you know what, you want to fine me, bring it on, government, because I will fine you right back. That's what I kept saying to that over this past few months. I wish I had a physical location to keep open. I would have done it. I would have done that. Because again, this country was founded by rebels and people that say no more, no more. I will not be abused anymore. But I don't think the American fighting spirit is there anymore. And I don't think people are willing to. Um, and again, I don't think the answer is violence. The answer is not violence. It is electing the right people. It's voting for the right people. And I unfortunately, um, a lot of times the people that get their name out there are tied to the wealthy. That's how they're able to raise funds. That's how they're able to campaign because they are a part of that network. Um, and people don't realize their power. They don't even want to donate $5 or $10 or $20 to get the right person into office. I did this year. I donated. I donated. I don't want to say how much money, but I donated money to people that I think that they would be worthy to run for office. I donated my own time. I donated my resources to helping different people that were running for office. Um, and I have no regrets, even though some of them lost. And I don't know if they're going to lose in the general election, but that's a possibility. Again, it seems like those corrupt people are usually tied to the wealthiest. And unfortunately, the media, the big $1 million and $1 billion media, the $1 million media being the local ones, and the $1 billion being the national 24/7 networks, all of them, um, they listen to the good old dollar. If you have money to throw at them, they'll talk about you. If you don't have money to throw at them, they'll ignore you. But I just hope that if I do end up running for office, I can get past that barrier. I can maybe I can only hope that people donate. I don't know. I can't force people to donate. I'll obviously be spending my own money. I'll be using what I can to, bring this state back to American traditions and values. And, um, you know, I basically looked at what I would have to do to run for office and, and have a shot at it. And I've already done that, and we'll see what happens. We'll see the campaign, but I don't know, guys. I might just move out of state and say screw all this. But I think my state is worth saving because I'll be leaving behind family and friends, and then they'll have to keep suffering under the the rule of these disgusting people who have no sympathy for the people that aren't collecting um, big paychecks. Just the fact that they kept Amazon and Walmart open just tells you they're scared of um, Jeff Bezos. They're scared of the Waltons, I believe, is the company behind Walmart, right? They're scared of the Waltons. They would not go up against that type of power because Walmart and Amazon would have crushed them if they tried to shut them down, and that's a freaking fact. All right, I'm going to read through the comments. Sorry, guys. Okay. The root of all that is wrong with the human race is greed. Yes. Now open now open for constructive as well as destructive criticism. Choose well. Yep. I would actually love to see you in a suit. You know what? I might do it next time. Canada here, the passion people like yourself in the US have for freedom of speech and thinking independently is always inspiring. You get it here but rarely in public. Thank you so much, Tim B, for that comment. Thank you, Don, for the thumbs up. Where do I see myself in 6 years? I hope that my business continues to grow within the next 6 months, actually, and then eventually I can run for office because I want to tell you guys another story, which is important, which is a personal thing to me. Let me read a few more comments. Hello, where are you? Oh, hold up. What about Zionists who are controlling? I don't know anything about Zionists. Um, I've heard that word before, and I believe it's actually anti-Semitic, if I remember correctly. I don't think. I'll just put it this way: the people who are running the show are tied in with the banks, in whatever way they are. If you're the one that prints the money, this is why printing your own money, printing counterfeit money is illegal, because the government doesn't like competition. The banks don't like competition. That's the best way I like to put it. Because imagine if you could print your own money, how much power you would have. Well, the bankers and the government have power because they print the money, right? It's as simple as that. That's the currency we've all decided that is, holds trade value. And trade value, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole Bitcoin thing, but if we all went to a form of currency that the government couldn't control, because I don't think that I think the government, if they really wanted to, they can control Bitcoin. And I mean, they already had something on the tax forms about digital cryptocurrency. That was actually a part of the tax code this past year. So they're definitely digging their heels or digging their stubby little fingers into that. So my concern with this year is because of all the bailouts, inflation is going to be hitting us hard, and the dollar will be worth, like, I don't know, 10%, 20% less. Plus, we're going to be taxed heavily, at least here in my state, because of the shutdowns. Because, like I said to the teachers, and like I said to the they call it the public sector, the government workers, I said, you guys might have it good now, but all these people that lost their jobs, you're going to be paying for them. So it behooves you, there's an old college word, it behooves you to support them and say to the governor, like, hey, why did you shut these people down? Why? I mean, I if you go on my state's Department of Labor, which is where he will get unemployment insurance from, people are they haven't been able to get unemployment since March. They're still trying to get through to somebody. That's unacceptable. Under in a minute, if I were running the show, number one, I would be checking social media. I would actually answer the phone sometimes. I don't think our governor does that. You know, he is so tied in with the elites at this point. And of course, back when he ran for office in the year 2014, I believe, I was going to say 2004, but no, it was 2014. When he ran for office, he acted like he was a man of the people. He was a bullshit artist. So I think I might run a campaign on honesty. I think I may run a campaign just like I'm speaking to you guys right now, where I don't care if a few times here and there I say a naughty word. I think people care about the truth. This country has been missing the truth. They've been missing somebody who actually gives a crap, genuinely gives a crap about people, and cares about the Constitution, cares about people's rights, cares about, understands how outdated our education system in this country is. The fact that I have been told by so many people over the years that they've learned more from my YouTube channel than they did at college or at their trade school. That's a problem to me. This channel should not be teaching more than what a college that costs $30,000, $50,000, even $10,000 a year teaches. People should be getting a lot better education for if they're shelling out their dollars. You know, it disgusts. I mean, I take it as a compliment, a huge compliment, but it inside it disgusts me that people graduate and that they haven't received a quality education. I don't understand why they haven't. But that's what I'm saying is that I talk to people in other countries and they tell me like the American education system is a joke, and that's why this country is falling behind so hard. We waste our young people's time and their brain power on mundane things that will have no bearing on their adult life, that will not be able to put them in a position to be able to have a sustainable living. I'm self-taught. Even though I went to college and graduated, I'm still like 80% self-taught on everything that I do. And people pay me because they know that I'm better than other college graduates. That I mean, I have such a big passion for the things that I do, and I want to. I still think I'm bad at what I do. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the only way to get better is to always be improving until the day you die. I mean, maybe I won't be going hardcore. I do hope to one day retire, but I mean, goddamn, man. Like, anyway, I'm gonna read a few more comments and then get through the rest of this list. Guys, I wish I had a. You know what? I know somebody that has a TV studio. Um, it's not like a big fancy one, but it's a good independent one. They have a video switcher, they have a green screen, they have um well, I have better microphones than they do, but they have decent microphones. I might take them up on their offer to maybe do some real home recording stuff out of their studio. Um, Maybe. I want to do a better live broadcast. Maybe have some remote guests on and all that. That'd be kind of cool. So I'm gonna go down, and if you're wondering why I'm wearing this hat, that's why. I need a haircut desperately. Okay. Oh, new recording gear for 2020. Okay. Well, I'll actually talk about that for a little bit. Um, so Young Love said, "I love when you go live or put up a video because you hold nothing back." I try my best, man. I always think I don't get everything across. Like, even though I have like an hour long video, like I still don't think I cover everything properly, and I think I ramble on too much. And that's one thing I'm gonna definitely, if I do run for office, I will make short little videos about different things, and just they'll be better planned than this one. Okay. Government officials are nothing but figureheads. They are actors in the entertainment division of the industrial military complex. Maybe. I guess I'll find out if I ever run for office, right? Like I said, guys, I've helped people campaign this year. I've been in the trenches. I've knocked on doors. I've handed out literature. I've done sign wavings on major intersections. I've done phone banking. I've I put together commercials. I went to fundraiser events and recorded videos. I wanted to live stream videos. I did live stream a video from one of their events. Sorry, I'm just trying. I speak better if I'm not looking at the camera because I see myself talking and it distracts me. Um, I'm not like coming at this from like a newbie standpoint. I actually helped somebody campaign back in the year 2000, and they actually ended up winning. Um, so Actually, a cousin of mine is elected official. So I'm not like some like at least politically I'm not green. It's just a matter of I've never run for office before. I've helped other people run for office. So it's not too far fetched. Your diploma, sorry, Obsidian. What's up, Obsidian? Your diploma is a certification background check for your buy-in for working under a slave master's whip, so to speak. Very true. The only people uh, Johnny Webb said the only people making money are the corporations and the government. Um, that's not necessarily true. I do think that there is still money to be made in well think about this. Whenever they say there's a crisis, right? There's a there's a there's a housing crisis. Well, guess what? If you own real estate, you can make money doing that. So, even if that means renting a room. There was a guy a few years ago, or maybe just a couple years ago, he wrote a book where he bought a new house. He lived in the basement of this house, rented out the top part of the house, so the first and the second floors. He rented those to somebody else, and he ended up essentially not paying any money on his mortgage. If you're willing to do things like that, I think now actually there's another company you can rent your car out. Um, Not that you couldn't have did that before, but basically they make it easier so that you can have like temporary insurance. They basically the idea is that you streamline the process. You can make money if you uh, offer a convenience to people. So, for example, I always say like, I will come to you for meetings, or we'll do a phone call meeting. We'll do a web camera meeting. People weren't open to that before COVID. I almost said the word that I've been trying to avoid saying. Before the lockdowns began, people preferred to meet in person, and I always found that to be a waste of gas money. I found that to be a waste of time. So now people have these meetings online that they weren't open to doing before, and I love it. I personally love it. I think you can get so much done by just talking to a video camera and a microphone, communicating that way. As long as I don't have to. Obviously, if I'm doing a video on location or whatever, I have to bring the equipment there, and we have to do that in person. But we can plan things out. And I can even, if they want to do a location scout, just send me some pictures of their property. Send me some. They don't have to be like the best quality pictures. I need to know like the nooks and crannies of the location that I'm shooting. Um, so there's money to be made. You just need to work smarter, not harder. I always tell people if you can come up with. I've always kicked myself for not being the first person to do virtual tours. I had that idea back when I first graduated from college to do a tour of people's houses, had to have real estate. I can't even think of the realtors. Sorry, to have realtors talk about a property on camera, and we just upload that video to a website, and that'll save them time and money. It'll save other people time and money to just get that virtual tour. And then once you weed out the tire kickers, and the tire kickers will hopefully watch the video and hear that tour, then they can still make the sale that way. But I guess the concern with the real estate agents was that they were going to possibly lose that sale to another agent, because I think that's kind of how things work, where you could see a listing and then get it through another agent. I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly. I don't know if the laws have changed on that or not. So, but back when I had the idea to do that, nobody was really doing it. They certainly weren't doing it in HD. Um, and that really, HD actually opened the possibility for that, because people weren't gonna do a tour of a house in standard definition quality, but in HD, that changed the game. Um, I already talked about that. Oh, okay. So here's another thing that bothers me. So I'll post the truth on some politician's Facebook page or on their Twitter page. And next thing you know, I'm getting blocked. I'm tired of that. That's another thing that I would not do. I would first of all, by the way, it's illegal to do. There's been federal court decisions on this. It is abridgment of free speech to block people from posting to your social media if you are an elected government official. They do it anyway. Why? Because they can get away with it, and because I can't call 311, which is the non-emergency police line. If I call 311 and say, "Hey, so and so local government person blocked me from Facebook. Can you tell them, like, you know, to stop doing that?" They're gonna be like, "What? Yeah, there's a federal court decision that says that they can't do that, sir. We can't help you. Take them to court," is what they'll say. They'll say hire a lawyer and sue them. Why should I, if I were a victim of a theft, which I am, and other people are in this case, our freedoms are being stolen from us. And in this, I've already talked about it again. Title 18, sections 241 and 242. Title 18 USC, sections 241 and 242. Those are criminal laws. Those are federal laws. The state that I live in enshrines federal laws and the Constitution into the law, into the state law. But they don't care. They don't care. And I keep saying that to people. They don't care. I do care. If I find out some politician, if I were to get elected, I would open up an anti-corruption wing immediately. That would be like one of my first actions would be to have an even if I had to pay it out of my own salary, I would do that. I have people on standby willing to do that as their full-time job, where they would take emails and phone calls about different people in the state government or in the local governments violating the law, and they would be investigated, and if there's enough evidence, then these politicians will be dealt with like any other criminal out there. That's what I would do. Anonymous sources. Oh my goodness. Okay. This drives me nuts. So this happens all the time, and people don't even really even talk about it. But if you read a news article and it says either like anonymous sources say, or like White House sources say, or congressional sources say, and they don't name a specific person, that person may have just that up. That journalist, okay, anonymous sources are like if I said, sources say that the Neumann U87 is not a good microphone. Recording gear. Somebody asked me about recording gear for the year 2020. So, first of all, I think the biggest innovation is Sound ID from SonarWorks. Sound ID essentially takes the SonarWorks reference idea and applies it to listening preference, and they also do a hearing test now, which if you tie all the components together, headphone frequency response, studio speaker response. If I'm up there in age a little bit. If I cannot hear above 16,000 hertz anymore, then that would be taken into account with the Sound ID system. So Sound ID, along with Slate, just put out Stephen Slate, not Slate Digital. Stephen Slate just put out a new headphone system that a lot of people are praising. I think though monitoring is the most important thing when it comes to mixing, recording, mastering. If what you're hearing is not accurate, if what you're hearing will not translate to the most amount of speaker systems, and when I say speaker systems, I'm including headphones, I'm including the little speakers on the crappy Bluetooth speakers, and even the little one on my phone here. Actually, there's two. But I'm including everything. will what you're mixing sound good in the most amount of places possible? Because you can't do it everywhere. But Slate's new system aims to, number one, obviously because it's headphones, take the bad acoustics out of your room, because there is no room. It's just headphones, and it from what I heard actually works pretty well. And the big thing I like is that it simulates like large speaker systems, so it simulates DJ speakers at a club or at a wedding or at some kind of event. It simulates those speakers in a large room. I don't know how well all this stuff works, but knowing Slate, they typically do not put out bad products, with a few exceptions. Um, and actually, I kind of burned the Slate Digital bridge a few years ago because I dared release a negative review. Um, but it's okay. I'd rather tell the truth and lose um, contacts than not. I care more about telling the truth to fellow audio engineers. That's you guys, by the way. Fellow audio engineers, or I've had musicians who are just curious about audio engineering, and they might not actually do it, but they're curious about, maybe what they're paying for, or if they're, you know, getting their money's worth at a studio, or just the curiosity. Just like I hate saying it like this. I watch makeup tutorials. I'm curious about what women, typically women, do, and like the work they put in. And I've watched makeup tutorials because I tried to get into doing it, because when you shoot videos, a lot of times you kind of need to know about how to put makeup on, um, so people look good on camera. I don't wear makeup, by the way. um, my skin is very good. No, it's not actually. But no, in all seriousness, you know, I think that we are living in the best times as far as technology, medical. We there's so many things we can recover from health wise that we couldn't before. Um, and I think at this point we need to reopen our country, because the the sickness, the illness can be treated. It could not be treated as well as it can these days. So I think that we need to reopen things. And I just I'm concerned. My biggest concern is the amount of people that might be homeless in a few months, and they might be trying to break into my house. And then I'm left with the decision on whether to harm this person who's trying to take from me, or to let them take from me. I don't want to have to make that decision. And the government, because of what they did, is making that a very realistic possibility. Um, I think peace is the best thing we need to try to achieve. I know that sounds cliche, but it's true. Can't we just come together and, you know, the things that we agree on? Because guess what? I think we agree with ourselves more than we disagree. I know you guys may not agree with everything that I feel. I might not agree with everything that you feel, but guess what? I think we're all trying to be happy. We're all trying to uh, live in good health. I think we're all trying to um, and that includes mental healthness, by the way. Being mentally healthy, being physically healthy. I think that we're all trying to, get that. What's that pyramid of needs? I always forget that guy, but we're all trying to achieve happiness while we're still alive. Um, how we get there, I think, is how we disagree. But the biggest thing is, I don't want. We should not have so many controls on people. Um, we should, as long as they're not harming other people, we it shouldn't be illegal. Is the best way to put it. I mean, that's my underlying principle, is the golden rule. The golden rule, which is do unto others as they would do to you. So treat them the way that you would like to be treated. And if they treat you bad, treat them bad right back, or at least try to keep the peace. And if they don't want peace, then treat them the way that they treat others. So, oh my goodness, I'm stretching. been sitting here too long. Guys, thank you for joining me. I'm going to answer any questions that people may have had. The year 2020, we have yeah, but I mean, I've already talked about, I think, the biggest innovations. I went through the Sweetwater catalog, which I might make a video about, the new Sweetwater Winter 2021 catalog. And I was shocked by how many good things can be purchased for under $1,000 or even under $500 these days. Um, are they as good as the real deal? Maybe not. If you want the real deal, you can get the real deal for a lot cheaper than, you can use Access Analog and Mix Analog. I mean, those two companies alone, to me, have changed, my ability to deliver better mixes, better masters. I didn't have that equipment before. I had a few pieces of hardware, and I have a lot of software, as you guys know. Um, and I think that software has definitely made improvements still to this day, but hardware can still be pushed a little harder. Whether it's with EQ, well, I think Acoustica Audio have really nailed EQs, but we're still not there yet with saturation and compression. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're still not there 100%. So, and we still need to have good microphones to record our audio with. That will never change. Um, but fortunately, the microphones don't cost an arm and a leg like they once did. The audio interface preamps are much better than they were back in the day. Um, and like I said earlier, the the monitoring situation, which has been I think the biggest barrier between the professional mixes and masters and the amateur ones, is that what we're hearing through our speakers was not giving us accurate enough information. And all these things are changing for the better, and we are able to promote our music. We're able to promote other things a lot easier, a lot more cheaply, and you know, I can't wait to see what the stuff that keeps coming out. I mean, it's just, I love it, man. I still get a kick out of watching these videos on the big screen, and I'm like, man, it's almost like you're really there. And I still only have a 1080p TV. I shoot in 4K sometimes, but I still just have a 1080p TV, and to me it's good enough. It's not HDR or anything like that. I don't have a Dolby Atmos setup. I don't know anybody that does. Even my former neighbor, who's very wealthy, does not have an Atmos setup at his house. But it's still cool that there's 20.4 or 20.2 or whatever Dolby Atmos is channels of audio. It's crazy. It's crazy. All I know is I'm kind of going backwards in technology. Hold on. Going through the last bit of comments, and that'll be it. What do you think of the company Neat Microphones? I've never heard of them, so I don't have any thoughts on them. But I'll try to check them out if I can remember to. Guys, this has been thank you for joining the live broadcast. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. And after the broadcast ends, if you could comment on it and share it and all that stuff, that would help me out. But YouTube, I haven't been doing it as much lately, like I would like to, because as somebody said, those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach do. I've been doing a lot more with my skill set, because of actually this year, ironically, I've had to adapt, and I think by the end of the year, I won't make as much as I did last year, but it is what it is, and I just I don't know. I think I could have made more this year if not for the shutdowns, which is what makes me angry. Not like yelling angry, but just like darn it, gosh darn it, I could have bought, an HD video mixer instead of a standard definition one. I don't know, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining me. If I do end up running for office, I will probably announce it on this channel just because the word will get out by then. Um, but again, that depends on a few things happening between. If I'm going to run for office, I'll make the announcement by April 2021. I'll see how things are, or May at the latest. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I just think maybe moving out of state would be better. And as I always say, it's like I'm not anti-authority. I'm anti-corruption. There's a difference. So thank you all again. I hope whatever you're doing out there, you're doing well. And I think I've said enough. Have a happy Sunday. Have a happy Monday. And I will probably put some videos out now this week. I'm gonna try to, but guys, I have so much that I'm doing now. I mean, oh, I don't have enough time. I might need to hire a video editor for YouTube. Maybe that's what I could do. Because the editing is what takes the most time. So if I could record some things and then hire somebody to edit them, I might be able to get back on a YouTube schedule. But we'll see. It all depends. It just all depends. So anyway, thank you all. And there was one more comment that I saw. Hold on. Yeah, you stay safe too, villain of the story. I appreciate all you guys. Seriously. I appreciate even though the channel's small still. I don't care at this point. I don't care. You know what? I cared about that a few years ago, and at this point I'm just like I'm just doing my thing. I'm going back to like I said, I'm doing, and that's what is making me happy. I think I've said almost everything I can say on YouTube about audio engineering. And I mean, there's probably some things that I haven't talked about that I just haven't got around to yet. But I think that there's so many audio engineering channels out there these days that um it's redundant to make some of the videos. So I just kind of like I'm trying to look for the unique stuff, and I think the only thing that's unique would be new products, talking about new products. But then I feel like I'm pimping these products. I feel like I'm shilling these products. It's a dilemma that I have to deal with. But last November actually, I just looked at it on the about page on this channel. Last November is when I took the business email off of YouTube because I didn't want to. Number one, I was running out of time and I couldn't get around to doing things. And also, I think that just buying things myself or trying them out at their software uh, keeps my bias out of things. Then again, there's the buyer bias. So, but software, at least you can try for free. And I think that eliminates as many biases as possible. But, I just don't want to come across as a shill on this channel. And that it's a shame because I genuinely think things are good or bad. I just it's a fine line between shilling and recommending, if that makes sense. So anyway, thank you all again. This has been Adam signing off from Studio A, Studio Attic.